No, girl, you are a business.
Oh, me?
Yeah,
Me?
you are. What did Jay-Z say? I'm not business, I'm a businessman or something like that. Sorry, Jay-Z. You said
What?
something like that. I'm a businessman.
Oh, I'm not a businessman. I'm a
I'm a
businessman.
businessman. Yeah, that's what Jay-Z said. Hi, everyone.
Welcome to Shut Up and Thrive, the podcast that will inspire you to live your best life.
Three best friends who have been growing, motivating, and inspiring each other.
I'm Vanilla. I bring the fun.
And this is Claudia, the passionate one.
And your girl Nair, sprinkling in the creativity.
When you listen to Shut Up and Thrive, it will remind you of your chats with your own BFFs.
Join in every week as we discuss all the things that make you want to shut up and thrive.
So, are you ready?
Let's get into the conversation.
Woo woo! And we're live.
Welcome, everyone.
Welcome to Shut Up and Thrive.
Yeah, thank you for tuning in every week and listening to us.
Grand afternoon. Do you think our audience will know the difference between our morning recordings and our afternoon recordings? Do you think we sound different?
I think so.
Claudia's like, I'm tired.
We sound just as tired in the morning.
No, we do not. Not like
in the
that.
afternoon.
We have more
energy.
More energy on those days that we record in the morning.
But it is what it is. And we're back for another episode. So what's on the agenda for today?
So today we bring the nice topic of budgeting. Part 3, right, of the series of the money mindset or financial freedom, I think. I'm not sure what the whole series is called.
I don't know if we ever gave it a name, but I just been calling it like Money Talks because
Money Talks.
The first one was money mindset, right?
Mm-hmm.
Second one was financial freedom, and now we're talking about
budgeting. So as you all may already know, budgeting is very important because budgeting basically means planning. Planning what? When you think about budgeting, you think about money, money, money. So that's what budgeting is. It's planning and having,
yep. What does Google say? Right. Have we been consulting Google lately?
Hello.
Oh, yes.
Google said that a budget is a financial plan for a defined period, often 1 year. It may also include planned sales volumes and revenues, resources, quantities, costs, and expenses, assets, liabilities, and cash flows. I guess when you're dealing with the budgeting for a business, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So when you hear that, you're like, oh, budgeting is for businesses. Budgeting is for companies. I don't need a budget. I get paid and I use my money. Isn't that how it should be?
No, girl, you are a business.
Oh, me?
Yeah, you are. What did Jay-Z say? I'm not business, I'm a businessman or something like that. Sorry, Jay-Z. You said something like that. I'm a businessman.
Oh, I'm not a businessman. I'm a businessman.
Yeah, that's what Jay-Z said.
Oh, Lord.
That's true.
I'm sure he does a lot of budgeting.
I'm sure he has a lot of people that does a lot of budgeting.
He's just signing off on it. Yeah, okay, I agree with that. Oh, no.
At this point in his life.
He's just telling them, like, this is how I want my money to be divided and do it.
Dividend? Claudia's back to make it
What
up.
Is that? What is
She's
dividends?
Back to make it up her words. This is how she wants. She says that.
Divided?
Dividend. No, dividend.
Dividend.
Hey, it's a word.
Goes with dividends, all in the same family. Right?
It's a word.
All the same. Tomato.
Whatever. It's a word.
Yeah.
They know what you're talking about. That's all that matters.
Yeah, they know how you're dividing your revenues and you're dividending your money, your revenue and your expenses, right, Claudia?
Right.
Yeah, so I guess we've established budgeting is important, right? It gives us a plan on how we're going to use our money. So let's talk about our experience with budgets and budgeting. Do we have any? What does it look like?
I have an Excel sheet that I never use. That's
Okay,
what
at
it
least
looks
you
like.
have a resource.
I do. I have plenty of resources when it comes to budgeting. But do I put it into practice? Not on paper.
So it's all mental.
It's all mental and it's in the bank. The bank takes care of it for me.
So, but walk us through your process.
My budgeting is my bank.
Okay, I need to
What?
understand this better.
There
Elaborate.
isn't. There isn't
Your
a system.
husband
It's
is
just
the
our system.
expenses and your bank is the assets. I don't know what's going on here.
I'm the spender. He's the saver. That's just how it is.
So there's no budgeting.
In his end, he does.
All
I
right.
don't. So one of
Well,
us.
does
is-
he really? Does he budget?
Yeah.
Are you sure of that?
Mhm.
Because if he budgets, then you would be just flowing right with it, along with that same budget or learning from him. So
No, he does it on his own.
budgeting
I'm
is not
doing.
saving and paying bills. We've
We
gotten
don't. We
that.
don't do it together. Like it's weird. I operate my way. He operates his way. But
All right, but
I.
when you say you guys budget or he budgets, but you don't, but we then maybe do you understand exactly what budgeting is?
Yeah.
All right. So if he budgets, he writes down
He
basically.
has his own books. Like everything's a criollo. So it's
Oh.
like I'm not involved in that. So stop asking me so deep questions about my
There's some
husband.
deep questions.
Okay,
Yes.
I want to know your process. Like, okay, so
It's his process, and I don't have one
But-
because he's the one that's taking care of the rest of the stuff that's like, vacationing and saving for this and for that.
so
He's
what
the
is
one who
your
does that.
for your responsibility, like for the things that you are responsible for? Like, okay, for instance, you get paid. I'm just gonna say as an example, you get paid every week $500. Do you know in your mind, like, okay, week 1, this money goes to this, week 2, this money goes to this, or you're just as things come up, just paying them? Like that's what I'm
No,
trying
of
to
course.
understand.
No, of course everything's planned out. I know what my monthly bills are.
Okay.
I know what my responsibilities are. But
They're
when it
just
comes
not
to
being
the
written
yeah,
down.
they're just not written. It's not like I'm writing a book like, oh, I paid this. Oh, okay, this is
Yeah.
what's coming in this month, or this was what I came. I don't do that. My bank does that. It tracks it for me
Right.
as you spent way too much this month on this.
Okay.
And I know that I'm like, oh, okay, Claudia, you spent a little bit, you was a little bit too, happy go on this shop. So stop, because you could have saved that money for something else. So I do it through my bank by following what they're telling me my trend of my daily
Spending.
payments and spends are. He does the paper route things that he writes on his book, and he knows how much he's working towards this, he's working towards that, and it's usually for a big project that we're planning together. So I leave it to him to be responsible for that. But
Mm,
I take care
okay.
of everything else. That's
That really
House
needs to be
duty.
budgeted for.
yeah, the house.
That
Which
should
is
be
it
budgeted.
kind of well, it kind of is budgeted because it's being taken care of. It's just like I'm not writing it on a book to.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're just talking through your process of like, how you manage your money in terms of, bills that need to get paid, things that need to be bought. But I think when Vanilla read the direction, when Vanilla read the definition, it's a plan. So typically when you have a plan, right? Like you have a goal, right? You have something that you're working towards, right? Yeah, there's part of your budget should definitely have that part where you're paying your monthly bills. Is your fixed expenses,
It's your
right?
fixed income, yeah, and then the
So,
rest is for whatever else you're saving for.
okay. So she's here to learn and thrive. Nothing wrong with that. Vanilla, what's your process?
My process for budgeting is once in a while when I
Budgeting.
once in a while when I feel like it or I feel there's a need. But
So what do you
um,
do when, okay, let's say the time has come, you feel there's a need. Like, what do you do? What's your process?
I start to track all my expenses coming in and going out, and I tell myself, okay, so you know how a budget should also include a time, almost like a
timeline.
timeline to it, right? So if it was to pay off my car, I was budgeting that as far as okay, this is the down payment that they want. If I want to pay it out at a certain amount of time, then my payments are going to be this much. So I made sure that I set aside that much money every month to be able to pay out my car in the time that I wanted. I haven't had big projects in my life to say, oh, I need to budget, but I also like to budget just simply little things just so I can save because I think I'm a pretty good saver. So I do a lot of budgets so I know, so I have enough to be able to say, okay, so if every month I'm gonna have $200 to invest, for example, then I need to make sure I budget so I can have that $200 to invest. But yeah, I
So
do like Claudia. I love app. I do have a lot of apps that helps you keep track of your money. For example, I have apps that I put in all my bank account, and then I choose how much, for example, in a month, how much money is going to go towards gas, electricity, everything. And then, like Claudia said too, like either the bank or the app will actually tell you, oh, you went over the budget. You budgeted to spend only $100 on fast food. I mean, on
mhm,
eating out, and you spend 125, things like that.
yeah.
So, but I enjoy the process. I don't like talking, dealing, working much with money, but when I go into it, I enjoy it like, most things. And it's very important. Obviously, we know that because, imagine if the government didn't budget or city didn't budget and, so who enjoys budgeting? Nair, you enjoy budgeting since like 20 years ago?
Wow. I've always I wouldn't say I've always budgeted like staying on top of my finances. There was a point where I would get paid and like I knew what my bills were, so I knew those were getting paid and would just spend whatever, save whatever, you know what I mean? So I think at that time in my life I didn't really have any goals per se, like specific goals. So then budgeting wasn't as important. But when you start to create those goals for yourself, like, oh, I want to buy a new car, or I want to buy a house, I want to you know retire early, then you're like, okay, I need to know where my money's going, right? And then I need to know how much I have left over and where I'm going to put that money. So I think when I really started getting into budgeting was when I wanted to pay off my debt.
Hmm.
So I mean, I never really had a lot of debt. It was not crazy debt. I had my student loan debt, and then I had a credit card that had maybe like $2,000 or $3,000 on it. And what made me like want to pay it off was because I'm like, I remember we bought our Tempur-Pedic mattress, and I put it on that card, and that was my card that I would use, to spend, and I would pay the balance. I'd pay more than what I needed to pay. Like the minimum could have been $25, not pay like $100, $200. But no matter what I was paying, that credit card was not going down. Like I still continue to have that same balance. So I'm like, what the heck? Like I bought this mattress like 2 years ago. Why do I still have a balance on my credit card? You know what I
Mm,
mean? So that was really what made me like, okay, let me focus on paying this off. And then once I created my budget and I, knew where my money was going, it was like easy. Like the stuff just started getting paid. Like the credit card, boom, few months paid off. Student loans, I had a few little ones here and there. I'd pay one off, pay the other. You know what I mean? It was like boom, 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 boom. And then I'm like, okay, I'm not really sacrificing a lot. I'm just being more on top of where my money's going. And that's what's helping me to, get rid of this debt. And now I'm able to save more. So then when I was kind of in that phase, that's when I found out about like financial freedom and retiring early. So then I started looking more into that. And then,
mhm.
going down the rabbit hole, learn about investing because I wasn't really investing. But I used to budget like on paper, write everything down. Literally every week, I gave myself a budget and I would write down everything I spent, total it all up, see how much I have. And I did that for a few years. Now I'm not as strict because I feel like I know my habits. And as I have an idea of how much money I have left over at the end of the month, and as long as I'm hitting that goal, I feel like I'm good. Every once in a while, yeah, I'll revisit it, but I'm not as strict. But I do allocate certain amount of money to certain things. I just don't write down everything. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? But what's helped me save and be able to take trips and have money left over is actually staying on top of my budget because I know that if I give myself $200 a month to eat out, if I spend $500 a month, then that's $300 that I could have saved.
that's a plane ticket somewhere.
That's how I look at it. Like literally, like I could have booked a plane ticket and what I don't even know what the heck I ate. Like,
Mhm.
and I bet you the food that I made at home would have probably tasted better anyway.
Yep.
So, yeah, that's me. My husband and I, he has his own system, I have my own system, but we do come together and create sort of an not really an annual budget, but we set annual goals together. And we say we want to do this, we want to do this. So this is how much I'm going to contribute, this is how much you're going to contribute, and we kind of just work that plan throughout the year. Yeah, that's how it works. So we're here.
So are there templates for budgeting? For example, you know how usually there's a system.
Mhm.
So when you have a budget, is it when it's a list of all your expenses, and then you either track it weekly, monthly, or yearly,
Or all three. You can probably do
or
all
all
three.
three?
Or
Um,
even daily. Some people do
so
that.
that's it. So I would agree that budgeting is something good to do once a year, like you say you do once a year with your husband. So once every year,
I
you
mean, I think if you are someone who has a goal, like if you say, I want to buy a house, you can't just live your life spending your money, whatever is left over, save it, and think you're going to buy a house. You know what I mean? Like you have, like you said, like Vanilla, like you said in the beginning, okay, you know, you want to pay your car off. You give yourself a timeline, like 2 years. So that means I have to save X amount of money or put towards the car this amount. Like that's what a budget is. It's
Mhm.
basically you have the goal, you have the timeline that you want to do it in, and then you decide, is it realistic? Does it make sense? Can I actually do it? And if let's say you don't have the money, okay, what are you going to do? Decrease your expenses, increase your income. Like that really helps put things into perspective because then you can say, okay, maybe I need to get a second job, or maybe I need to get a promotion, make more money, or maybe I need to stop going out to eat. Until you have
And
that budget, you're not gonna be able
yeah,
to make those decisions.
yeah, I was gonna say, and that's what budgeting does.
Mhm.
It puts you in the right place to make those decisions, right? Because if you
Yeah,
don't budget, then it's really like, oh, I don't have $400 to pay my car this month, and I really wanted to, do an
pay it
extra
down.
amount. So if you budget, then you'll know because you'll be able to, throughout the week or every day, throughout all the 4 weeks, by the end of the month, you should be having enough. But if you don't budget, then it might be just a surprise that you don't have the money because you spent it new pairs of shoes or someplace else.
And I know a lot of people might not want to do it because it takes time. It's gonna take time. Sorry, you're gonna have to take time out of your life to sit down and write things down or use an app or whatever's, is best for you. But if you're constantly thinking that you don't have enough money or that you're not making enough money, sometimes you are making enough money. You're just spending too much money, or
Yeah.
you do need to make more money. You know what I'm saying? Like instead of just always wondering or thinking like, oh, I never have enough, or I really want to do this, like really sitting down and budgeting and giving yourself those goals, it's gonna help you. And then too, a lot of people think like, oh, making a budget, I'm gonna feel restricted. It's gonna make me feel like I can't spend my money. No, you just give yourself a budget like I'm going to give myself $50 a month to buy coffee, for instance, if you love coffee, rather than saying, oh, I'm not going to eat out, or I'm never going to, I'm going to try my hardest not to eat out. If you give yourself a budget, you have that money to play with. You know what I mean? So a budget really frees you from that mentality of always having to worry about your money. It kind of like takes that thinking away because you've already
Mhm.
made the plans. You know what I mean? So it actually helps you rather than thinking it's going to stress you out.
Yeah, they say that, it's like a financial picture of your business or of basically your
Of you
finances, right?
you as a business,
Yeah.
right?
Yep. So it starts with you taking an account, what's my salary, like how much I bring in, and then listing all your expenses. Normally, we have those fixed expenses that's a little bit easier to determine, and we have those
Yeah.
variable ones that we can't decide. And
But you
so
can, you know what I mean?
so yeah, that we don't know. That's what I meant. We don't know what it might be. For example, in the winter months, gas, for example, is
Yes.
different than in the summer. But
But that's where, like, using those apps can help you because
yeah.
they'll give you a picture view into the past, and where you're gonna save is on those variable expenses. You know what I mean? If you don't know how much you're spending every week shopping, for instance, until you sit down and actually add it up, then you're gonna be like, wow, I didn't think I was spending that much money shopping. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like, imagine if I didn't spend that money shopping. What I could be saving that money. I could be putting that towards debt. You know what I'm saying? And like that's what the budget's gonna help you do. It gives you a look back. You get to look back and see how you've been spending and then take that information and make a plan for your future.
Correct. Yep. And estimate how much you're going to need, right, for whatever your goal is.
Yep. 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 Claudia, what
Now,
you gotta say?
Budgeting is hard. No,
You
I'm
think
just
it's
kidding.
hard though?
No, it's just it does. It takes time and you have to sit down and look through the thing. But I actually do that through my banks. I look at my what my income is coming in and things like that. And I'm like, oh, I have to cut down on this or I need to add more. If I really want to spend something on in the future, I definitely plan it. Like, my vacations, I have to plan that money throughout the whole year or throughout the time that I'm like, oh no, that goes directly to this account. It takes a certain amount for this and for that. It's all computerized system that I do. And then it tells me, like, I like the fact that it says your income earning this month was this, and if you went over like a penny, it's telling you if you went over $200, and you're like, oh shoot, how the hell did I go over $200? So it's like you go back and forth and you're like, all right, I gotta fix this, or I gotta move this. Okay, we're spending too much
Does it
money on
let you
food.
does it let you set a budget? Because I know, like, for my bank, it'll let me set a budget, and then I can look at my spending compared to the budget I set, so then I'm keeping track throughout the month. It's not like from what you're telling me, it sounds like at the end of the month, it gives you a recap, and then you're able to make the decisions moving forward, but I know some apps will give you the option to create your budget, and then
Mhm.
you can, as you're spending on your card,
I've done
track
that on my
your
vacation stuff, like my savings
mm,
pat. Like, let's say I wanna, if we're going to Miami, and I want to bring $1,000 in my pocket for just spending on whatever I want. I can, create an account right away and say this for this savings account or into one I already have
mhm,
for this 30 days. I need to, get $1,000 in it, and it'll kind of tell you like, okay, this is what you'll need to do for the
mm,
next 6 months or whatever period of time,
yeah,
so you can have that money in. So I do it that way. It just, I guess, it just comes, and I don't think of it as budgeting for me.
mhm.
I don't use the term and all of that, but it's definitely, I have to know how much money I'm spending and how much money I'm getting and things like that.
I know you said in the beginning you don't budget, but from what you're saying, it sounds like you're on top of your money. Some people don't. They'd be like, "Oh, we're gonna go to Miami, whip out the credit card and just put it on the credit card." And like me, like I was just paying as I spend. I'm paying, but I'm spending. I'm paying, but I'm spending, and I'm never going anywhere. It's like you're on a hamster wheel, and a lot of people live their lives like that. So until you sit down and make a decision that you want to get rid of your debt, because some people maybe don't care that they live in debt and they don't care about savings because they have a credit card.
yeah, and that's
Mm.
great right there. So why is budgeting that important if I'm really good at saving and keeping track of my expenses? So
Well,
that's when it's really good because you get to like Claudia says, I set goals and I do it. So
Mhm,
that's one reason why budgeting is good because you get to make sure that your goals will be accomplished. You'll
mhm.
reach them.
yeah, and the credit card thing is definitely another conversation, but it's, as you learn about credit, it would be wise if you're doing it the right way. That I think that I've learned is, if you're buying something, you use your credit card, but you have to pay the payment.
Yeah, of
And I
course.
think that's where a lot of people fall off. They're like, I put a $600 on it, and then you just leave it there for years and years or something. Like, you don't budget yourself to that time where, like, all right, I put $600 on my credit card. I need to do it within 3 months. I have to pay it all off. Because if you use your credit card, your credit card score goes up, and that's how you build
Yeah.
credit. So it is something that people could use, but
Mhm.
don't forget to make that payment when you come back from that vacation. You've already should have already started that plan. Like, all right, so when I come back every week, I'm putting money into it, and that brings your score up anyways. Every
Yeah.
If you pay your payments every week, it's thinking that you can, even if you pay the minimum. You know what I'm saying? But you're doing it every week, $20, $30, $40, whatever it is, that amount that you need to. You're gonna see your credit score go up so much, because I've done it that way. And that's how I'm starting to learn credit so much, because of
You were paying on a
buying the
weekly
houses.
basis.
Huh?
You paying it on a weekly basis to get
It
your
wasn't
credit
that
up,
much, but it
or
had to be weekly basis. It was a 2 week, like every two
Yeah, as
weeks I
long
made
as
a payment.
oh, okay.
yeah.
It was, let's say it was a $30. I paid that $30 in 2 weeks. The next 2 weeks I paid the next $30. And then you're saying, then if I had extra in my, savings, that I'm like, oh yeah, this couple of months I'm not really gonna do much, I can add another $10 to every 2 weeks to put towards that one credit card that I've used. So within 6 months, your score's going up and you're definitely seeing the numbers going down. And that's how the credit increases.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. There's responsible ways to use credit
Hmm.
card. But the thing about credit card that you have to keep in mind is that $600 that you put on that credit card, unless you're paying it off that month, right?
It
It's
adds
it's
interest.
it adds interest. So great, you're making your payments on time, you're making extra payments. That looks good on your credit. Absolutely. I agree with that. But the other part of it is though that you have to keep in mind is even though you're making those payments, you're making money for the bank. Like the bank is
Mhm.
making that 20-30% off of you. So I always recommend like if you're going to use your card, like pay that balance in full. Cuz then you're instead of it being $600 for that trip now, by the time you finish paying, you're going to have paid 670 for that trip. An
Yeah.
extra $70 that could have been saved and
Towards another
invested.
trip.
So that's the thing. I mean, yeah, that thought process sounds good as long as you don't mind that $70 going to the bank. For me, I don't want to pay any interest on anything, and I think that's why I got really focused on paying off my
Mhm.
debt because I'm like, I'm paying the government through my student loans money. I'm paying the banks with my credit card money. Even my car, like
The
I
banks
don't
already take just for have like if you don't have a certain amount of money in your bank
yeah,
account,
that's
they're
the
already taking
maintenance
their
fee.
monthly fees. So it's like,
Yeah. So it's like, no, I would rather save up the money and then take that money and buy whatever I want on my credit card. Yes, buy it on my credit card because no, nowadays credit cards have points and cash back and all that stuff, but I'm paying it off. I'm not giving you 1 cent of interest. Like ever since I paid off my debt, no, no, I don't.
yeah.
And I'm someone who works for the bank, and the bank will teach people, will tell you how to do this. Like, this is not something that's a secret. It's not something that they want to see their customers in. Like, they don't want people to default on their loans. And, obviously, there's going to be times where you're going to need to pay some interest. Like, you have good credit, you can get a really low interest rate on your car, and that's fine. If you need that, you need it. But credit cards, 20-30% interest, that's highway robbery right there.
The
Like, if
20% interest,
that's
that's
crazy.
insane. I look at those that have like 14 because they
That's
push it.
good
They really
credit.
push it.
Good credit is
14.
14%.
Oh, is it? I'm like,
Yeah.
no, too high. It's at 14 something. Like the other day, I was
No.
like, oh, this is 14 point something. They want me to get it. When they say you've been pre-approved.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
was
which is
like,
fine.
I
I
think that's
always
high.
say that's low. I think the
Okay.
average is 25, 26,
24.91.
21.
20. Yeah, between like
Or
20,
yeah.
25, or even higher sometimes. And then depending on how you use the credit card, right? If you take cash out of a credit card,
Oh, forget that. I
forget
learned that my lesson in that in college. Like cash. Then when I saw the bill, I
nerve.
was like,
It's like 30%.
oh, those fine prints that you don't read. I had no
Mhm.
idea it's gonna be that much percent.
Yeah, so I my thing is always if you have credit card debt, pay it off and put yourself in a position that if you're going to use that card in the future that you're paying it off and you're not paying interest.
And that's a
But
perfect if
that's why you budget so you can build
exactly.
up
Perfect
that
example
reserve
when to start budgeting. Like you have credit card bills, but you've never budgeted. Practice budgeting, paying
on that.
off your credit card bills. Let that be,
Mhm.
your starting point.
Yeah, and a credit again is a whole other thing because there's
Yeah.
student loans, there's mortgages, there's car loans, there's consumer debt. That one is a beast. But Neil, you better
What?
not pick that subject. Credit.
What?
Credit, like the whole
Oh,
idea of talking about credit.
I thought this was the last series, the last
Well,
episode on this series, but there's a credit one left?
I mean,
We're gonna
credit,
bang them
you
out,
can't
ladies.
talk about money making moves and not talk about credit. People need to know their credit scores. They need to know how to improve their credit scores. Do people even know what goes into a credit score?
People do.
You think
I
so?
think nowadays, like you just said, it's not a secret anymore. Like your bank is throwing it in your face.
Right. But
Everywhere
do they
really is.
know? Like we know because we research this stuff, we look this stuff up. Does the average person know? I think there's like 4 or 5 things that goes into your credit score.
Yeah. No, you people don't really pay much attention to figuring that stuff out unless they have a need to.
Okay, but
Um,
why are we not in a position that we don't ever get to that point that you know what I'm saying, that where our credit score is so low?
Because they're not educating us enough on it. Not taking courses, not having that goal for something right away, or you know what I'm saying? You need to
I
know, like, you
I
come
feel
like, I had to get more of this information because I was buying a house.
yeah,
So,
that's the thing, like,
luckily, I
why
didn't have a bad credit history. I might have
mhm,
had some minor things in college and some things going on, but my credit history was long because I started young,
mhm.
and, I didn't have many, besides student loans showing up, there wasn't anything else like credit cards on my account because I never really was that type of person. I just used my money, period. And
But what I'm saying is, like, why do we wait till we get to that point where,
I know
okay, we wanna buy a house, that now we're all concerned about these things, like, when we're in high school. When we get our
yeah,
first job,
that should be taught.
that should be taught, you know what I mean? And that's what my goal is with my kids is as soon as they start making money consistently, like we're going to have these lessons. Like we're going to talk about credit, we're going to talk about budgeting, we're going to talk about managing your money, we're going to talk about savings, we're going to talk about investing. You're going to open an investment account. You know what I mean? Like they're going to know all these things when right at young, which I didn't know that until I don't know what made me even want to pay off that credit card. I just got to the point that I was like, "I'm on a hamster wheel here."
Yeah, I'm tired of paying
Yeah,
this
that's
bill every
when
month.
it's usually because of those reasons. Like something happened, like, wait a minute, I
But
pay
nothing
every
happened
month,
though.
nothing's happening.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And sometimes some people, unfortunately, it's when they're over their head, they owe big money to IRS or whatever, credit card companies that they
Or like
say,
20, $30,000 on a credit card. Like I was like crying, not crying, but like I was like, "Oh my God, $2, $3,000 on my credit card."
yeah. I mean,
Some
I've
people have
never had
20,
a credit
30,
card with that
40.
big balance.
That big balance. I
If
don't
you have,
try to either. I'm like, no, don't give it to
Yeah.
me.
not even the balance, like that credit limit. You have,
Yeah,
if
it's
you're a person
scary.
who has 20,000 credit
Well,
limit,
I
then
work for a bank, but
Yeah.
your
credit
credit is amazing because
no, not
they don't.
necessarily.
So what credit card can I call right now? Be like, I need a $15,000 credit card, a limit in my credit card.
Is yeah, you can apply. I've seen credit
But
limits
don't people get?
50,000,
That's what I'm saying. So that
25,000.
means your credit is pretty good, or
Right, you're
Mhm.
saying nowadays people see their credit, so they should know where they stand. So you would know where your credit stands.
yeah. But I'm saying to have a card where you can max out
Well,
$20,000.
I wouldn't
It's
max
like
it out, but
no, 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 no. You don't get me. I'm not saying to max it. I'm
What
saying
score would
you.
you need to have to get that?
it's
You need
not
to have
just
at
the
least
score, it's
an eight
also your
800.
income.
Yeah, and then you
No,
need to
you
have
don't need a
everything.
800, like, it's a combination, obviously, of your credit
Mhm.
and your income, like, you have to obviously have the income, but you don't have to be rich, you can have a normal job, a normal income, and the other thing too is banks will increase your credit limit. If they see you're using your card responsibly, they will increase it
Yeah.
over the years, so but yeah, there's people who have debt, $20,000 credit card debt, $30,000, $50,000.
And
Yes.
think about that when you think of the interest every month.
I know, girl. I've seen it with my own eyes.
Good
I've seen
Lord.
interest for like $700.
Oh Lord. Budget, budget, budget. Okay, people?
Imagine,
Budget.
and I'd be like, "That's a car payment. That's a house payment. 700 in interest."
It's a fancy ass car payment.
I know. $700 in
You gotta
interest.
be driving a Tesla.
When I worked at the bank, there was people that was paying on overdraft
Mm,
fees
that's not so much of a thing
thousands of
anymore.
dollars.
Yeah.
And I was
Yeah,
like,
that used to be big.
and I used to try so hard to be like, there's I can help you if not having to do this. You can open an account to do, instead of paying 35. Oh, it's okay. I don't care. They literally say, I'm like, hey, well, you got money. I guess you can care about a lot of stuff.
Yeah, until you sit down and add up how much you're paying in
We added
overdraft
this.
fees.
There was this one particular gentleman. We added it up for him because we were like, you've been here for many, many years. We want to help you because shit, divide that money into us. Give it to us.
Give it to us.
For real. Don't give it to the bank. But
The
he was like,
banks.
just not, it's a lot, the same reason why a lot of us don't budget. It's the work that it takes. It's the
Mhm.
sitting down and the planning and thinking about it. Having to sit down and make a goal. Nowadays, a lot of people don't want to live like setting goals. They just want to go to work, make money, pay their bills. If they want bigger things, they know they want to go get money, jobs that pays more money, but don't want to have to deal with budgeting or anything like that. And
Yeah, and
budgeting is not for poor people
budgeting's
because
not
if
what?
anything, it's more important when you have a lot of money to budget more because harder to lose track of your money if you're not budgeting when you are making a lot of money. I
Yeah,
think.
budgeting is important at every level. I mean,
Yeah.
budgeting at when you're not making a lot of money is what's going to help you budget when you are making a lot of money. Don't think that once I have money, then I'll stop budgeting because you're not. You're just going
Mhm.
to continue your same routines. Like you said, it's a lot. It's work, and people just want to be comfortable, right? They're like, oh, I don't have creditors knocking on my door. My car's not being repossessed. Like I'm doing fine until they get to that point where they have bigger and better goals for themselves, that's when it becomes a problem,
Mhm.
right? Rather than it never becoming a problem because from jump, you're already on top of your stuff. Like it's just being on top of your stuff, being stress free. And it helps you. It helps you realize like, okay, I want these things in my life and I feel like I'm not making enough money. Okay, then you push yourself to do things that will make you that money that you need?
And budgeting will do just that. It will let you know if you need to get a better paying job or stop spending money. Maybe you even your coffee every morning. Those are little
Buy
things,
that
but things
machine.
that add up, you know? So, okay, so I spend $5 in a cup of coffee every day. If you budget, maybe you
Coffee
can.
is a sensitive topic though.
I know, but that's why I use coffee. You can like
It is.
definitely pinpoint things that your money is really, or okay, let's forget
Or
coffee
this,
and do
how about no, let's do the
subscriptions, for
coffee,
example.
let's do the coffee example for me because I love me some coffee. But what I did instead is I invested in an espresso machine, right? That
Mhm.
investment up front was a lot of money, but now I would rather drink my own coffee than go to Starbucks, go to Dunkin' Donuts because I know my coffee is going to taste way better. I literally will rather come home and make myself my coffee than stop at Dunkin' Donuts. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes it helps you kind of get that mental shift to be like, well, yeah, it might be a lot up front, but let me save for it. I'll have it. And then now I can make my own coffee and save X amount of dollars every month and have better coffee than I had going
Yeah,
to these fancy places. So
that's
again,
right.
another way to like twist that and not feel restricted and feel like because some like I don't want people to walk away thinking like a budget is gonna make me I'm not gonna be able to enjoy the things that I want. You know what I'm saying? Like you
No,
can still
budget is going
enjoy.
to let you see budget's gonna let you see exactly, like I said, it's like a picture of your finances. It's gonna let you see exactly where your money is going. Yes, we budget with a goal to accomplish something, pay off that credit card, pay off that car loan. But because you do the budget, you're able to see, oh, every
Where you
month
can tweak.
my subscriptions for like the things I'm subscribed for is this much. Food is this much, gas, everything. All your expenses are this much. And if you budget, you can see it, and seeing it is a big, big deal because it makes it like almost like a reality. You know what I mean? So if you just say, "Oh, I work, my money gets direct deposited, and then I have automatic payment to all my accounts, so I'm all set." But
Mhm.
that's not really a budget.
Yeah.
Budget is when you can actually see
What's
every
going
penny
on?
and what's going on, yeah. Well, I need to take budget into a deeper level to actually not just rely on the apps, and because there's a lot of things that the apps is not gonna pick up, because the apps you literally would have to put in every credit card, every debit like bank account,
Mhm.
and even like cash money that you might have on hand.
Your bank
Your
is not
apps
picking
don't
that
know
up.
about that.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
So going deep and actually do that.
Yeah, I mean, I do still budget like monthly. I don't write everything down, but I spend only on one card. So whatever I spend that month, I my bank tells me you spent this much. So I'm able to track that. And that's the other thing too is you don't need so many like credit cards, you don't need so many debit cards. You can have one bill paying account, one spending account, and then have your savings accounts for different goals. And that's really all you need. You know what I mean? Like some people have like a MasterCard, a Visa with this bank, store credit cards. Those are other things too. Like those are dangerous. Like my Coast
Mhm.
card, I'd be like, girl, you're gonna run me into debt.
Why? Because you have it, you use it? I know it's not because you're not paying or paying
Yeah,
fees.
yeah. I mean,
It's
no,
because
I'm just
The
joking,
flexibility
but
of
yeah,
having it
but
is
you have
easier.
it and they give you like they give
Point.
you points and then
yeah.
they send you coupons and then they
Bonus.
give you Kohl's cash and you go just to spend your $20 Kohl's cash. You think you're only gonna spend your $20
Do
Kohl's
you have
cash?
any Kohl's Cash? Because they're having an actually
I
good
do.
sale
I
right
have
now.
and when you go return Amazon products, they give you $5 Kohl's cash.
Mm.
So I went to go return something for Amazon today and they gave me $5 close. So then, and it's not for the day you return it either, it's for the next week. So
Why you
yeah,
get money for returning Amazon stuff?
because they want you to go to their store because you return at
They
Okay.
want you
Kohl's.
to come back.
They want you
Okay.
to go back. I'm gonna say, oh, Kohl's gave me $5 Kohl's cash last week. Let me go to Kohl's to spend my $5. Am I really gonna spend $5?
No.
No. You know what I'm saying? Like,
You probably have to
what?
waste.
But
There's a
I've gotten
minimum how
good.
much?
I don't care. I've gotten good. I will go there and only spend that $5. I don't care if I'm only buying gum, a pair of socks. I don't care. Like I've gotten to the point
Yeah.
that I can do it. But yeah, the store ones are really they're not bad, but like if you don't again, if you don't budget, if you don't manage,
Mhm.
then it can get you in a hole.
Yes, I have a lot of store ones,
Do you use them
but
though?
I use them when I go to the stores to shop. But I get home, I treat them just like any other credit card.
Yeah.
If I went to buy a $30 pair of shoes, I'm coming home, I'm transferring that money because I just got it there for the store points. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I do with
But
my
I
Kohl's
want to
card.
come home and pay it off because I want to treat all my purchases like cash. If I have the
Mhm.
money, I'm buying. If I don't have the money, I'm not buying it.
Yeah, because you've gotten yourself to a point where even though you're using cards, like you said, you're going to pay those off. So it's not like you're paying interest to those banks. Like that's the whole point of budgeting and saving is so that your money can go towards you and not towards banks and
Exactly,
companies
fees
and
and
things like
stuff.
that.
I have a book that I'm going to dig into. I've been having
Mm.
it for like 3 years. I've mentioned it to you ladies before, but I haven't had a chance to really dig into it because it's really thick.
What's the book?
The book is called Living Your Best Year Ever. I want to thank my friend Manny for giving it to me. And the book is published by Success Books. So I don't think it
Who
has
wrote it?
one. Could be Darren Hardy in 2011, looks like. Also by Darren Hardy, yep. And then he actually wrote another book, The Compound Effect, Multiplying Your Success One Simple Step at a Time. But this one's called Living Your Best Year Ever. And it's a really good book that to help you achieve big goals, right? So when we think big goals like buying a house or retirement, retiring in 10 years, those are really, really big goals. This book by Success Books by Darren Hardy is really, really good. It's a nice read. It looks very thick, but a lot of it is actually like the weekly rhythm registry. They want you to write your 3 goals for the week.
Like financial goals?
Yeah, they have like personal development materials I'm studying this week. So it's like it's an interactive kind of workbook. So it's like a book/workbook.
Mhm.
And then it gives you your all whatever. There's like 52 weeks in a year, I think, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So it has
Time and age, time and age.
so it actually has like
Oh.
a sheet for every single week. So you write down your wins, your losses, fixes, ahas, and then planning. So yeah, I think this is another good book for anybody in their financial freedom journey.
You said you've had it
Yeah.
for 3 years though? Girl, get
Yeah.
on it.
I mean a lot of it is highlighted, so I think I read it and but never
Mhm.
actually did the work.
Okay.
Because
And that's the most
I'm one to
important
be
part.
like I'm one to be like, oh, I need to make another copy because I need to like
Mhm. You don't
save
wanna you
save
wanna
my
ruin it.
book just in case I want to give it to someone.
Girl, don't worry about it. Just do you.
I don't know, I could just print it out again.
There you go.
I should have it still. I think I sent it to you ladies.
I think you did too.
Yeah.
Well, I have a book too. So I don't know if this is really related to budgeting, but I recently read We Should All Be Millionaires by Rachel Rogers. So in the book, I guess her like mission now is to teach women how to become millionaires. And she goes through her like sort of life story and growing up with money, her money beliefs, and just things she had to break throughout her life to get her to a point that she became a millionaire. She became a self-made millionaire. So she tells her story in the books. I highly recommend it. But I did want to share a couple of things that she went over in the book. My notes. I've been keeping notes as I read books, so I always have the information. So there's one part of the book she talks about how to live like a millionaire. So this is when she starts to get into like the practical part of the book where she's like giving you advice and things to do to take you to become a millionaire. So she says the first step is to mentally upgrade your everyday life, right? So think about what upgrades could you make to your current life that will like get you in that mindset of being a millionaire. Like what do you need in your life? How do you want to live your life, right?
Mm.
Like what's missing or what do you want to add, what do you want to change? So you can ask yourself questions like what upgrades will help give me more time, energy, joy, power, and peace. So what are the things that I can do to give me all these things in my life? Because ultimately that's what money gives us, right?
Mhm.
Gives us money, gives us the energy to do things we want, joy, happiness, power. When you have money, you have power, right? You can make
Mm.
decisions, and peace. You have peace of mind. You don't have to worry about your bills being paid. And then she says, how much do these things cost? So she has categories that you go through, and you assign a cost to them, right? So what upgrades could you make to your home in your physical space that would give you more time, energy, blah 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 blah. So is it a new home with 3 bedrooms instead of 1 bedroom? You know what I mean? Is it I need to hire a housekeeper, right? Let's say I don't want to clean my house every week. So how much does it cost to hire a housekeeper? So let's say $300 that will upgrade my home space. So you give $300 there. Recreation and travel. What upgrades can I put into that category that will give me more time? Blah, blah, blah. I want to travel 4 times a year. Okay. How much am I paying for travel now? How much, you know what I'm saying? Like you just go
Mhm.
through the list. So recreation travel is one, transportation is another one, education for yourself, for your partner, for your children, your wardrobe, saving and investing, self-care and daily habits, giving and community contributions, housework and hired help. Oh, that's its own category. And then other, whatever else you want. So you basically say, like this is how much I pay for my home now, but I would want a home that has 4 bedrooms. Okay, it's going to cost me instead of $1,000, it's going to cost me $1,500. So that category is $500. So then you get the amount, right? Let's say it's $5,000. She says you run the numbers. This is step 2. Run the numbers. How much per month would it cost you to make these upgrades in your previous categories? Use this to create a new monthly targeted income. Right. So now instead of making $4,000 a month, I need to make $10,000 a month to get all these upgrades that I want. So that's your new goal for your income. Because again, when we think of budgeting, we always think of what can I do to decrease my expenses? But do we ever think of what can I do to increase my
Increase
income?
it.
Because the fastest way to reach your money goals is going to be increasing your income. Like you can only cut back so much, right? So then she has a whole little formula. Current monthly income plus the total cost of your monthly upgrades equals your targeted monthly income. Then she says brainstorm money making ideas, right? So find 25 ideas to bring in extra cash. Yeah, just write them down. She's like, I don't care what if they may sound silly. I don't care. Just write 25 ideas that you can generate more income. Oh, some examples she gives is side hustle, doing something you enjoy, renting a room in your house, yard sale, tutoring, so on and so forth. And then the last step she says is to commit to your first upgrade. Let's say my first upgrade is going to be hired help. I'm going to hire someone to clean my house. So that's $300. Commit to that and set a deadline of which upgrade will be executed. So in 6 months, I want to have a housekeeper. So you have 6 months to increase your income by $300 to meet your first upgrade. So sounds like, if I remember the book correctly, this is kind of the process she went through to get herself to become a millionaire. And she's like, the crazy thing is like when you do these things, like opportunities start to come, like you start to make connections with people. Things start to come your way, kind of going back to like a manifestation. You know what I mean? Like when you set yourself on a trajectory towards a goal or something you want, things are going to be brought to your life to help you achieve them. So
Yes.
Nice. That was very
that's
interesting.
the takeaway.
Mhm.
She also went over something that I thought was very cute, and I wrote it down. 25 ways to begin to become the woman you want to be right now. You guys want to hear
21 ways. Give us like a couple.
it? Okay.
Number 1, budget. Number 2,
No, she
no,
just goes through like practical things you can do right now.
go ahead.
And she says do them all, but put your phone on do not disturb or airplane mode when working. Get dressed for work, even if you work from home.
Half checked.
Hydrate.
Check.
Declutter your home or workspace.
Working on it.
Have an orgasm in the morning, either with a partner or with yourself.
All right.
Oh, okay, okay.
She's like, I know you
Check.
sound
No.
weird,
Check,
but
check.
check, and check. No. But she's like, think about it. Imagine how you're going to attack the day after having that feeling.
Mhm.
Hey, can't argue with her there.
No.
No argument there.
Invest in one bottle of perfume you love and spritz it every day.
Oh, yes.
Keep
Aw.
your phone out of your bedroom. Get yourself a nice alarm clock.
Oh,
Create
I have it.
spa vibes for yourself with scented candles, incense diffusers. Have a wellness routine. So, for
Mhm.
example, commit yourself to daily walks or workout. Some type of wellness routine. Find $1 million view in your hometown, such as like a beautiful bridge, a cliff, a lake, and gaze at the horizon and soak it in. I'm like,
Mm.
oh, that's so
It
cute.
is so cute. We're so lucky
We
to
have
just
that
Yes.
time.
have
Beautiful scenery everywhere.
that, and yeah.
Do something every morning that makes you feel bossed up. For instance, wear mascara, wear a cute scarf,
Aw.
do a little meditation, whatever makes you feel bossed up. Treat yourself to a small luxury that makes you feel amazing. And she gave an example of like a really nice notebook. Like just go all out, give yourself a cute little notebook.
We don't need any more, but that's cute.
Okay. Yeah. So read the book. I went through.
No, I was saying we don't need any more
Oh.
cute notebooks.
Oh, I thought you were done with my list. Yeah,
No,
you can go
no.
find the rest on the book. No, they're pretty quick. I'm halfway through anyway. Make your room in your home. Okay, make room in home or life for your goals. So create a workspace. Like don't she's like, even if you don't have a big house, like just dedicate one little corner. Like that is your workspace and that's it. Like don't do anything else but that. Like if you can't dedicate a whole room. Put cucumbers and lemon in your water on a normal Tuesday because you can. Create $1 million moment for yourself at least once a day to remind yourself that you can have and deserve nice things. So, an example is like you watch the sunset or you read a book,
Or you enjoy a glass of champagne in a
glass of
bubble
wine.
bath.
I mean, every day, once a day, you're not going to drink a champagne
Oh.
once a day, but
Why not? Just a little bit mimosa for breakfast. But it's okay to have a glass of wine, Missy?
not every day,
Okay.
a couple of times a week.
The doctor says you can.
The doctor says it's okay to
If
have
it's
one
the
glass
right-
of wine every day.
Yeah, the right Concord
can,
grape
but
wine.
The red.
the dark red wine. Get your car professionally washed.
I need to do that.
Put lotion on your elbows, knees, and feet. Get that glow, girl. Listen to audiobooks and podcasts that will inspire you. And
We
we've heard
already do
we do
that.
that. I'm sure we do quite a few of these things on the list.
Yeah.
Slow down when you eat. Savor your food. That's something that a lot of people just guzzle down their food. Declutter your calendar. Put thriving. She said thriving. Put
Yay.
thriving healthy plants in your home and workspace. Check.
Yeah.
You've got a whole bunch of them.
Yes. At restaurants, at least once a week, order the menu item you want and not the cheapest.
Mhm. I
Fix
do that
that.
every time my husband's paying, but I don't really want that, but it's so expensive and I've been wanting to try it.
There you go. Fix that one thing that's been annoying you for too long. Speak to yourself like you love, admire, and respect yourself. Nice, right?
Oh, yeah, those
Yeah.
are awesome tips.
Love it. So I was like,
I
ooh,
like
let me
it.
write this down so I can look at it and make sure I'm doing these things.
Was it an audiobook you heard or you
Yeah.
have the
It was an audiobook.
cool?
Yeah, it's good. I like her story. She's very ambitious, and you'll get that from the book. But again, it's you're gonna learn something, at least one thing from it. So yeah, put that on your to read list.
Yeah, I'm gonna add it right now to my Libby app. So if
you
anyone's
go.
interested in audiobooks, I know Naya has a ton of it. Every time we end our episode, we refer a couple of books. I don't know if we probably did in the past, but the
Yeah.
Libby or there are other library apps there.
Yeah, I started using what's it called? Hoopla. It's another library app
Yeah, you told me about that too.
It's not as they don't have. I don't feel like they have as much as Libby, but there's some good stuff in there. That's why I've been reading all my astrology stuff.
And you would link your card to it as well, right?
Mhm. Yeah,
Uh,
you link your library card. Yeah, so if you don't have a library card, like, you don't need to go to the library to use the library card. You can use it for digital books and movies, like, anything your library has that you can rent it digitally with those apps.
mhm.
Did you find it?
I just borrowed. We should all be
There
millionaires.
you go.
I'm happy because everything else is like on hold. This is nice.
Yeah, I think too many people are getting hip to this app. They're taking up all the books. We need to
Mhm.
stop promoting it.
That's what I'm saying. I talked about it so much. I was like, "You haven't downloaded the app. You haven't downloaded the app." This was like
Mhm.
COVID-19, 2019, but now it's like, "That's what you get. There's 12 copies, and you have to wait 6 weeks to get your
Mhm.
hands in
I'm
one."
waiting for, like, 3 books. One I pushed out
Pushing out
'cause
meaning you canceled it?
no, like, it was available to listen to, but then I wasn't ready for it, so I said deliver it
Mhm.
after a certain date. Yeah, I'm waiting for 2. Anything else you ladies wanna talk about budget-wise? What are your takeaways? You're gonna read that book.
Well, yes, I already downloaded that book, but and then I guess when it comes to budgeting, remember, you don't need a lot of money, you don't need a little bit of money to budget. You actually should budget with whatever amount of money you have, but the goal is to start small. If it's something new, start small by picking a goal, like something you want, something you want, either travel or something material. Set a goal to achieving that and budget right now how much you can save every month or every week to be able to reach that goal. That's my
Oh,
takeaway.
cool. Clyde, what's the takeaway?
Takeaways, many different ways of budgeting, as long as you're doing something to stay on track, I think. And then the more you get into it, get that goal together. Could be a house, it could be a small thing like, I want to go on a vacation. That's a start, start somewhere. Know where your money's coming from if you need to improve that income. And most of the time, I'm always looking, I need to make more money. So I'm looking for a new job. That's what I do.
There you go, girl. Increase that pay. It's part of budgeting. My takeaway is I need to get back to budgeting. Uh,
It's a
Nah,
good
you do
one.
plenty of that.
no, I do. I've slacked. I've really slacked. I do need to get a little bit more. Yeah, because I was seeing great progress. I mean, not that I'm not right now, but I know I can. Like, you can always be doing better, right? So
Mhm.
don't get to a point where you think you got it. I think I got it, and then you start to slip. And then when you stop and like look at everything, you're like, "Whoa, what's going on here?" So just constantly have that routine in place and just make it a part of your everyday habits.
Yeah, revising it because things change. Like
Mhm.
subscriptions, the prices go up. So if you
Yes.
budgeted last year or 2 years ago, but you didn't this year, then it's off because even if it's a couple of dollars. But
Mhm.
for example, Netflix, it went up. If you're still
Yes.
working on that old budget, then you're still budgeting Netflix
Something
at
else went up.
9.99 instead of
Amazon went up.
did it?
They're all going up. Everything. Food went up, gas went up. Like, girl, what has not gone up?
My paycheck.
Inflation. Yeah. It's like, can you increase my paycheck? Because everything else is
Yeah,
going up.
everything else went up. Like, why is it still where it's at?
No, my paycheck went up. It's gonna keep going up. Everything's
That's
gonna
right.
go up. Let it go up.
I have been doing a good job though tracking my income, and I was telling you, Vanilla, like ever since I've been writing it down, I give myself a projected income, and I'm surpassing that month over month. So
Like income of what you give yourself to spend.
what I
Yeah.
make,
For
So,
yearly
so
income.
like what I make.
but you said I don't get it.
Okay, so I think I'm gonna make $2,000 every month, but I've been making more, like over what I've budgeted
Why do
for,
you think? Because
because
you
I've
know
been
what you're
putting
gonna
in
make.
work.
Oh, okay. So when you said your other, not your regular paying job
Yeah,
that you
that doesn't
like,
change
okay,
month over month, week over week, like doing little
okay,
side hustles, like doing
side
things on side.
hustle.
Remember the lady said, write 25 different things you can
Yeah,
do
yeah,
and go do something.
nice. So
Yeah.
yeah, now you had that great takeaway. You want to increase your income? find yourself a side hustle. Download the book, 100 Ways Side Hustles. There's a book.
What?
There's a book
Oh yeah,
that's
100 side hustles or something.
yeah, 100 side
And
hustles.
especially nowadays, like with the internet, that's one thing I love is the internet. You can find so many places to make more money. Be a virtual assistant, you can copyright, you can teach kids online. Like there's so many things you can do,
It is.
and it doesn't have to be forever, but if that's or focus on how to get a promotion at your job, like how to make more money, how do you get a different job, like whatever that is for you, commit to it and do everything every day to get there.
That's right.
All right. Every time I think that an episode is going to be short,
It's long.
it's long.
It's because we talk, baby. We talk.
We sure do.
So you thought budgeting was going to be short?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. There's only so much you can say about budgeting.
Oh, yeah. Only so much, an hour long. That was good.
That was good, good, good. All right, ladies. We good?
Yes, mamas, we are good. All right, I just want to say thank you to our listeners. Thank you so much for tuning in every Wednesday into your favorite podcast streaming platform to listen to Shut Up and Thrive. We hope that you are thriving with us, and we look forward to hearing from you. So please tune in and share with your friends and family, and let us know what we should talk about. Claudia, where can they find us?
They can find us on our social media platform, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and any podcast streaming that you preferably listen to. Hopefully, Apple.
Yes. Leave us a rating. 5
Yes,
star,
give
please.
us ratings. Let's
And
go.
a comment, testimonial.
Did you guys find us on Apple?
Let us know.
Whoop, whoop.
Thanks for listening. We will
Bye.
talk to you here next week.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.